Hey, what is going on, guys? MechlordGames here today. And we're going to be talking about this new Link monster shit. And I'm going to give you guys my opinion. So I already read through this, and I'm still a little confused. And I'm not exactly quite sure how this is going to work out. So, there's a new extra monster zone, and only player can use one of them. So when the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. However, when a player special summons a monster to one of them, the zone becomes treated as part of the player's field, and the other becomes treated as the other player's field. The tactics of the duel will change drastically depending on who can grab this zone first. So, chances are you're going to want to go first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra monster zone. But if you summon a Link monster to one of the extra monster zones first, you can utilize it to its max potential. So from the looks of it, you can, if you want to Xyz, you have to summon it to one of the monster zones. Well, to the extra deck monster zone, which there's only one. But if you put a Link monster, I believe you can actually make your plays and your combos. I'm not quite sure. There's still so much confusion about this. Nobody really knows, like, what it's going to be. But extra deck monsters like fusions, synchros, Xyz, and links cannot be summoned to the main monster zone. So your normal monster zone, you can't Xyz summon synchro or anything to. I believe you're going to have to do it to this new zone here. So I believe you're going to only be able to have one extra deck monster on the field at a time. Which, if that's the case, the game may be a little bit more balanced, but I'm not quite entirely sure. I'll have to check out the Link summoning article as well, because I haven't read that yet. So, your monster zones are now the main monster zones. So, that's a different thing. And then pendulum zones are now the the leftmost and rightmost zones of your spell and trap card zones, and when you actually play a pendulum card, those become the pendulum zones, but they're also still your spell and trap zones, I believe. So the zones pointed out by Link markers can be used to bring out extra deck monsters. Okay, so if you have a Link monster, the zone beneath it, you can use, so like, oh, okay, I understand how that works. So, the zones that you have, like, on the actual Link cards, there are these little arrows in the corners, or, like, on the individual spots of the card. Those will show which ones you can actually use to bring out extra deck monsters. Okay, so that's how that works. That is how it works. So, like, if you have an arrow that goes this way and this way, you can use this zone and this zone for the extra deck, but this one you cannot, if that's the case. So although extra deck monsters can only be summoned to the extra monster zone normally, if you have zones that have markers pointing to them, these zones can be used to summon extra deck monsters. So if you get out a Link summon quickly, you can bring out fusion, synchros, and Xyz monsters in succession. Of course, you can summon another Link monster in one of these zones, so if you play your cards right, you can fill your entire main zone with extra deck monsters. The new metagame will require careful consideration of where to place monsters. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense now. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so if you're not getting it, the Link monsters themselves. Let's go to the let's just go here and I'll show you the example. So on the card here, you have these little corner arrows. When you actually have the Link active, the spot this way and the spot this way become the zones for it to be used. As well as, like, anywhere that the arrow points, the zone there can be used for the extra deck summons. So there's two ways of Link summoning. You send the materials to the grave equal to the Link number, or you can Link summon something from your extra deck by sending the same number of monsters that meet the material requirements written in the card's effects box, whose number is equal to the Link number. So you have to send materials that equal the Link number here. I'm not sure how the link number comes into effect here, and like what you actually have to, like, I'm not exactly sure. Like in the case of Decode Talker, you can either use 3 effect monsters or use a link to effect monster, more effect monster. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, it says 2 or more effect monsters, so I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work. And link monsters also have no defense points, and they can't change your battle positions, and you can't turn them to defense by card effects. And you also cannot set these cards because they have no defense. So it's an interesting mechanic. I guess we'll have to see more about this when this actually comes in and when it fully comes into play. So I guess that's really all that I can tell you for now. I don't really know too much else about it, but it actually seems kind of simple and straightforward. As long as we figure out like what we need to do for the link summon mechanic and like how the link summon mechanic itself actually works and the rulings on it, we'll be able to actually figure out more about it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If this doesn't turn out well for the game, I'm probably going to quit the game. And so are so many other people that I've been talking to about this. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.